balance yourself with good protein. So then during the day, make sure you're getting either your chicken or your turkey and your veggies, mixed in with that light balsamic dressing. Boom, you've got it made.
Hello and welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. Welcome. Today's going to be such a great day. Guys, I'm so excited to share with you this incredible guest. We are speaking with Maria DeRosa. She is the founder of Ladies of the Kitchen, a cooking connoisseur, and an absolute gem. I cannot wait to introduce this brilliant woman who has so much knowledge in terms of nutrition, but a really fascinating perspective into the impact that cooking and sharing in the five senses when it comes to experiencing meals together and in community. Oh, I can't wait to have this conversation. Maria, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so pumped because, before the show, Maria and I were just chatting, and I was saying to her, Maria, this is one of the areas that I think dentists and doctors fall off most readily is what we feed our bodies. And it's crazy, Maria, because we know better. We know, in fact, we study this in medical and dental school, nutritional science, but man, it's the one thing we tend to let lapse in the busyness and overwhelm and the stress of every day is feeding our bodies.
Amen, girl. We put ourselves last. We put ourselves last because it's like a priority that we feel, oh, well, I'll get to me later.
Yeah. Yeah. So, did you ever have that experience in your life, or how did you come to this love and passion for cooking and nutrition?
I like how you said we should know better. Pretty much any professional, regardless of what they've chosen, will say that at some point in their life. And that's exactly what happened with me. I too felt I knew it all. I owned a restaurant for 28 years. I taught high school for 12, Spanish. So, of course, I don't want to sound too egotistical, but there were times I thought I should know better, right?
Yeah.
But what really triggered that moment for me, truly triggered it, was when I woke up one day, and this was way back now because it's now been almost 13 years since this moment in time. I woke up and I go, what the heck is happening in my life? My hair was falling out. I had a rash that was, I literally had to wear gloves sometimes, which I could get away with in the kitchen. And my body was communicating to me what is going on. And it was seriously the stress of running the restaurant and living with a person with severe addiction problems. So your body will talk to you eventually if you don't take care of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, how did that foray into your journey with nutritional sciences?
Fantastic question. So I took a deep breath and I knew I didn't want to stay in that environment. I really had no idea what that was going to mean, but I did know this. I did know that my body was talking to me because it was physically in my face, hair falling out, rash, stomach kind of acting a little funky. So I thought, what are you going to do about this? So I had quite a few friends that I could rely on spiritually for my spiritual input and support. But then I really started researching what the heck have I done? And literally, just by convincing myself that a cup of coffee, a salad during the day was enough, maybe a light piece of chicken at dinner that I threw in my face. Sometimes I would go with 4 lattes a day. So I literally started to say, Maria, I think it's your body. And with that, I realized that there are 3 components that really create our joy and happiness: how we take care of our mind, how we take care of our body, and how we nourish our soul. And with that, I created Ladies of the Kitchen.
Wow. Brilliant. Oh, so does Ladies of the Kitchen incorporate all 3 concepts?
It does. It
Wow.
does. Um, I found that truly any kind of pain that we experience in life, and we're all going to have pain. We never can say we don't go through life without experiencing some sort of pain.
Correct.
And so, and who am I to say that yours is worse or less than mine? Pain is pain.
Right.
And so with that, I realized that there are several professional, good women out there that have children, that have jobs, that have commitments, okay? And they're not really addressing what's inside of them that they probably buried. Maybe an ex boyfriend, maybe a job loss, maybe they could have gotten that certification if they hadn't gotten pregnant, whatever it is, they buried it because this was more important.
Mm.
And so all of our pain really goes back to the heart. And the heart, one of our strongest organs, needs to be fed properly.
Mm.
And a lot of times we don't do that. We just figure 4 lattes, which is literally what I was living on. Oh, that'll get me through the next 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was.
Wow. Wow. So then you started eating more responsibly, more mindfully.
Yeah.
And first of all, how did you start? How do you recommend starting? So if somebody's listening to this right now and thinking, "Oh my gosh, Maria, I live on 4 lattes a day."
Right.
And let me not judge here, please. If this is something you're recognizing in yourself, please give yourself enormous compassion. I think Maria and I would both agree right now is sometimes we find ourselves in survival mode, and that sometimes looks like 4 lattes a day.
Right.
But if you're recognizing this as you're listening to this podcast and thinking, okay, I don't even know where to start taking care of my body, specifically when it comes to nutrition, how do you guide your clients?
First of all, I tell them get humble. The fact
Ooh.
that they reached out to me, that's the first step. I had to get humble and think, I think I know it all, but obviously I don't. Can I literally go out and reach to someone and pick up the phone or do something like this, get on your podcast and be humble enough to say, this person maybe has some wisdom that will guide me in particular. And so, with that said, that was the number one thing. Get humble, look at
Mm.
yourself and say, what can I read? Who can I reach? Then the second thing, simple steps. Start small. I started very, very small. I didn't want to overwhelm myself and like, oh my God, I got to get into this, super duper exercise program and do this and do that. I was just totally overwhelmed and leaving my business and starting a whole new life, leaving a marriage. I went through a lot of craziness during this time when I made that decision. And so start with baby steps. And there's simple baby steps. It takes 30 days to master one habit. That I know as a teacher, and most professionals know that too. And that's minimum. Some of us take 60 if you have a big ego, right? But usually we get down brushing our teeth, boom, right away as a kid, right? But as adults, it takes a little bit longer. So I started with little baby steps. And they're easy ones to do. You can start with, I have that G.L.O.W little acronym that I use. Did you know about
Yes.
that?
I was reading about it in your bio. Tell us, what does G.L.O.W stand
Yeah,
for?
I tell everyone it's really easy to start with, just give yourself an acronym, G.L.O.W. So, G, what are you going to give yourself today? And literally start small. And I started spiritually by getting out of bed instead of like jumping out and going, oh my gosh, another day. How am I going to do it? I forced myself to sit on the edge of the bed and go, put a smile on your face.
Mm.
Force yourself to put a smile on your face. And just that alone got the brain going. Then I gave myself the grace to walk to the kitchen and start a self-talk. What are you going to do that will be better for your body, Maria? And I know this sounds crazy, guys, but you're talking to yourselves anyway. Your kids, your whatever. Oh, where am I going to do? Oh, what about that plan? Oh my God, I got that appointment, right? You're talking to yourself anyway. So talk to yourself if you go to the kitchen to make a cup of coffee and literally say, what am I going to fuel myself? So number one is give. What are you going to give?
Mm.
Easy thing to do. It involves you. It involves your mind. L, the L of G.L.O.W, learn. And I mentioned that before. How are you going to learn? You're not going to learn if you don't reach out to someone or you don't read something. You're reading things every day, your kids' homework, your own lesson plan for what you've got for work. Make it important. Yeah, there you go.
You're learning. Yeah, you're scrolling online anyway.
Right, exactly. Great idea. There,
Mm,
that's easy breezy. So throw
mm,
in one for you. Oh, organize. Now,
mm,
this may sound crazy, but this truly, truly kicked it off for me. I picked 2 days of the month, and you guys can do it weekly, however you want to, but I had to start small. I picked a day at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month, and I said, I'm going to go into my kitchen and I'm going to take a small section and I'm going to purge it. My pantry was a mess and I purged it. Purging opens up your soul, and then you go, oh my God, I can put in some protein bars. I never thought I had room for good old protein bars. I can put in some whatever else you love that you know will be good and put it there, make it pretty, clean out and purge your kitchen or a shelf even, get pretty dishes, drink your coffee in a pretty Starbucks cup. Something that's organized will fuel the mind and the body and the soul.
mm,
And lastly, wonder. Now, this one I did actually in the master class, and I've had so many people really like it. This is easy breezy, guys. So, what you do is you need to connect your heart and your body with what you see. Visuals are very strong for us. Very strong. Like when you see your kids go off and you go, oh my God, I didn't comb her hair, right? And or now you're doing it in the car or whatever. Or you look at yourself and you realize you have two different earrings on because you were so busy, right? So visuals are so important to fuel us and to make us happy. So I got everyone in the master class a small glass spice jar. You guys, you can buy these at the 99-cent store, the little
mm.
clear like spice jars. So get one that's clear, and inside put a mantra that you just totally know you can embrace. Mine was manifest dreams for this year, okay? Because I have a lot of dreams I want to. So I took it, put it in the jar. Then I had everyone pick a dry spice that they love. Mine is rosemary, so I threw in rosemary in there. Some put in lavender, some put in sage. They're visuals. You can see it in the spice jar. And then whatever other little spice that you might like, maybe it's cinnamon, maybe it's a sea salt, but just three. Three is a powerful number. And those three, you just put it by your coffee pot, and you now have a visual, a physical food visual that you're looking at that's reminding you, I'm going to glow today. So you put all these things together, give yourself something in the morning, learn from others and learn from your apps or whatever it is it's going to be. Organize your kitchen or a shelf twice a month if you start small, and have a wonder. So when you go out into the day, you're going, I'm going to do this. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to look good.
I love that. That is beautiful. I love that. Ooh, I love that so much, Maria. Hey guys, I'm interrupting your podcast episode to let you know about an incredible new program that I'm launching in January of 2023. It is specifically for practitioners in medicine and dentistry to help you rediscover happiness and inner fulfillment within your profession and your life. I remember what it was like for me when years ago I was so depressed and anxious and feeling like I had created and built a treadmill I just couldn't get off of, pushing through every day and wishing my life away. This program is the how of how to find happiness in your practice and in your life. Because we know that when we feel good, that's when we can do good. Check out thebizofhappiness.com/radical happiness or click the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you there. I'm wondering, how can we bring that into the medical and dental office? As you're speaking it, I'm thinking, because I think often we tend to be medical dental professionals tend to be hyper organized. Like the organizing part, everyone lit up listening. They're like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, that's what I love to do. We love that stuff." Okay, so that's really fun. The challenging part is giving to myself, right? Because as you so aptly um, identified, we're so easily give to everybody else. How can I? In fact, probably listeners listening to this, and oh my gosh, you're going to giggle if I caught you out right now. You probably thought how you could gift this beautiful acronym to someone else. How can
Right.
I change someone else's life with this? Or how can I gift them this pretty little spice jar? But, I think giving yourself that gift is the critical component of what you're talking about, is turning that beautiful compassion back on yourself. And I'm wondering, when we're talking about nutrition during the day at work, when you're running like mad, that as so many medical and dental practitioners are seeing 5, 10, 50, 100 patients. And yes, that's true. For some people, they see 100 patients a day. How could we incorporate that beautiful practice into the workspace? And I'm thinking now very clearly about that beautiful, keeping that spice jar just as a visual reminder of the intention of fueling yourself during the day. But
Right.
what do you recommend in terms of, if we were going to take that organizing into our workspace, into our pantry in the office, which right now most likely is filled with probably chocolates and cookies and terrible
Right.
foods that people have been gifting their doctors because they think that's so sweet of them. There's donuts for sure in one dental office right now who's
Right.
listening.
Well,
So how do you recommend organizing that in the office?
this is such a great question because I actually went through this with my dentist recently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because one of the things that they did during Christmas, and I hadn't gone in at a Christmas time period. My teeth cleaning is usually like in spring and like just before fall or something. Anyway, so I went in and they had this incredible smell when I walked in. I go, what's going on? Apparently, they had a tradition where they would bake cookies for anybody that came in. And so then I said, well, what kind, of course, me being the healthy
Mhm.
person, well, what kind of cookies are these? Or am I going to get 20 pounds on me? That kind of, joking.
Yeah.
But they were really like gluten free and oatmeal. And so I said, you know what you should do when we started talking? I said, you should do something for each season, not only for your clients, but for your staff, and
Mm.
give it like a little duty to each of the people. So one person is in charge of actually doing a visual. So when the patients come in, she has a fruit bowl and she changes the fruit bowl depending on what the season is. So not only is she seeing something visual and fueling, but giving suggestions to the customers as to what is good for the season. Then another
Beautiful.
staff member does the baking, whatever it might be for the Christmas season. Another staff member is in charge of actually putting, how you guys always give us the little treat bags, like here's your new toothbrush and whatever, that kind of thing. Instead, they do that as well. But then on the outside, they put, this is our recommended treat suite for the month. Okay. And they literally will put an idea as to what they came across, or if they ask someone, a recipe, and they put it in the bag.
Very cool.
And then they have a refrigerator where all the staff is asked to bring for 1 month, okay, enough little snack things for the staff for the month. It could be celery sticks and almond butter. It
Mm,
could be, so that nobody has to worry about it and it's done and everybody's contributing.
I love that. But the focus being on healthy nutrition. Mhm,
Exactly.
mhm. And
Yes.
what I love about that is the focus and the intention and the attention where it needs to be, and also on the idea of fueling ourselves during the day.
And everyone has an opportunity to be creative. No one's one idea is correct.
Mm,
What
mm,
someone
mm,
brings for a cookie or to puts in the fruit bowl doesn't mean it's wrong or better than the next person. We all
mm.
have an opportunity to share what we've learned.
Yeah, I love that. So what is a good, replacement for sweet tooth or binge eating? Like, I know that that's often something, when you're working in a stressful environment and you're running on empty, literally, we tend to reach for those sweet treats in a pinch. And I think that's why so often in medical and dental offices, that's what you see there. It's like, I just need a little bolt, a little jolt.
Right.
So what is a good replacement?
There's quite a few on the market if you're not the type of person that has time to make anything at home, because there's a lot of quick recipes that you can make at home and, take to the office. But if you're one of those, I just want to go to the store, buy it,
Hmm.
bring it. So the three that I would suggest, I'm all about the number three, is both Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, which a lot of people know those two stores, have a section of nuts and chocolates, and a lot of those not only fuel us, but they satisfy the palate and the stomach. So I would suggest you investigate those two sections, and you can find combinations where they have the chocolate, the nuts, and the fruit all mixed into one. And you could eat like, oh, probably 3 or 4 handfuls and already be full and not have a lot of calories. But make sure that what you're looking at is not the processed. You want to have the ones that have been organically grown, don't have a lot of additional sugars or preservatives. And you can read that on your label. So that would be one.
That's a great, yeah, I can't believe I can have 3 handfuls of chocolates and nuts every day and not gain weight.
Right. You
Wow.
can. Yeah. You balance yourself with protein. Balance yourself with good protein. So then during the day, make sure you're getting either your chicken or your turkey and your veggies, in mixed in with that light balsamic dressing. Boom, you've got it made.
Okay,
Hmm.
very cool. Okay,
Yeah.
I cut you off. What were some other suggestions for
Another one, believe it or not, are fruits. And the two best that I always suggest to people that will fill you and also kind of satisfy the palate is green apples and green pears, which are
Mm,
prolific. Pretty much you can find those any time of the year. Specifically, green apples, you can pretty much find any time of the year. And almond butter, because of its thickness and creaminess, well, I mean, for some people, you have to kind of develop the taste, but after you put it in with that tartness of the green apple, boom, done.
yeah, that sounds like a really good one to me, and then you're getting the fat and the protein and the crunch from the apple. That sounds really good. Yeah.
And then for those that are chocolate fiends, I think it's Trader Joe's where I've seen this. I usually get mine through a company that I partnered myself with, which I really like. But there is an almond peanut butter cup. You know how people
Yeah.
used to get the peanut butter cup? Well, the almond butter one, I think is available at Trader Joe's. And again, you might have to acclimate yourself a little bit to the taste, but it's filling and it works as a great snack.
Wow, I love it. Those are some great suggestions. And what I heard you say was just staying away from the very processed foods. So the candy
Right,
bars that even though you might look at it and say, "This is chocolate and nuts in it," but it's super processed.
right, exactly. And
Okay.
it's probably been sitting on the shelf for God knows how long,
Yeah.
too. That's another problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Another thing that I know you talk about on your website and in your workshops is this kind of mindful preparation for eating. Like
Yes.
getting yourself ready for nourishing yourself. And I love that idea. And I'd love for you to share with us. I mean, even if you're just grabbing a snack, I think this could be so important. So, what is a simple ritual prior to the meal that you, or during the meal, that you can share with us in terms of just being very present?
Yes, I really like that question. And I mentioned it a little bit or alluded to it, how in the morning you start that self talk.
Mm.
So once you've entered your kitchen, even if it's for a cup of coffee, I always stop myself and I say, oh my gosh, how many people were involved in what I was eating? Thank you. And that's all I say. And sometimes I literally stop myself, like with this cup of coffee, I go, somebody had to grow it, somebody had to roast it, somebody had to harvest it. Oh my God, what country was that? And then I'm overwhelmed and I go, and that's just my one cup of coffee? Oh, thank you.
Mm.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and just that process not only puts you into gratitude, but it gives you a minute to really savor and think about, what am I putting in my body? Oh my gosh, you know?
That's
It
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that, and especially when you're running at 100 miles an hour during your day, so important to create a ritual where you slow down and think about what you're about to put in your mouth, because I think we can all, you know, be, ha w all remember a moment in our lives when we didn't even realize we were eating something, or you've already
Mhm.
swallowed it and you kinda, I'm shocked that the wrapper's empty or the bowl is empty because you don't remember eating what you just ate.
Right. Amen.
Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. Oh my gosh, you have an amazing, workshop coming up, and you have some exciting things coming up this summer. So for people who are listening to this episode and thinking, "Gosh, there's so many great nuggets here," where can we find you? And tell us a little bit about what's coming up on, in Maria's world over the next few months.
So I have a website called Ladies of the Kitchen, so you can find a lot of information there. I'm also on Instagram, um, LOTK, which is Ladies of the Kitchen Healing the Heart. So a lot of videos and recipes. What I do twice a year is I host a fundraiser. So my last one was during the holidays, and the fundraiser is specifically targeted for assisting children who have been affected by living in a family with dysfunction, abuse, or some form of addiction.
Mm,
And I live in the community called the Coachella Valley, a city called Rancho Mirage. And right near us is the Hazleton Betty Ford Treatment Center. And I am just so honored to be working with them because the children are our future, guys.
mm.
We are going to provide an environment, hopefully, that is sometimes even more glorious than some of us were able to grow up in. And some don't have that opportunity, unfortunately, because they just didn't have a good environment at home with family or guardians. So I want to give them some help and hope. And so we have this great fundraiser where people come from all over, and we literally have amazing cocktails and appetizers and food. Last Christmas, it was all vegan, just so that people could see that vegan is not that bad. And it was great. I was so surprised how many people enjoyed all the vegan varieties that we had.
Very, very, very cool. So if anybody wants to find out more information, check out ladiesofthekitchen.com. Or we will leave for you a little link in the show notes of this episode. You can find Maria there.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Maria, thank you for all that you do. Really, I am just so honored to know you, and just so impressed by the creativity and the abundance of new ideas and ways that you incorporate nourishing ourselves in such a beautiful way, not just to your individual clients and the people you work with, but also within community. So thank you.
Thank you. And my parting words are touch yourself, hold your heart, because you're the only body you have. So take care of it. The world needs us all to shine.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And your GLOW acronym fits so beautifully in that too. Before you leave us here today, my friend, I would love to ask you a question I ask of all my guests. What is your definition of happiness, Maria?
Oh, wow. My definition of happiness is waking up in the morning and not forcing a smile and knowing you have one more day on the planet that's guaranteed to do the best of the best. And guess what? You're alive to do it.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much,
Mm.
Maria. Thank you so much for joining us here and for all your great tips. And thank you so much to all of you for joining us here today and wishing you a beautiful, nourishing rest of your week. Really paying attention to gifting yourself the gift of self nourishment and doing so in a mindful way. And remember, when you feel good, that's when you can do good. Bye bye.